This morning on KXAN News Today, his death happened almost a year ago, but protesters are now chanting his name in Williamson County. We'll take a closer look at the impact of Javier Ambler's death through the words of his own family.
And we're off to a fantastic start to your Sunday morning. Temperatures very comfortable across the area, but it will be another hot one today with the return of the humidity that's ahead in first morning weather.
And the state is dealing with a surge of new COVID-19 cases. We'll bring you the latest numbers and the devastating impact it's having on one Texas police department. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Will Dupree. Jacqueline Powell is off this morning. A teenager missing in North Texas prompted an Amber Alert overnight. The Royce City Police Department is searching for 16-year-old Kylie Ann White. Law enforcement officials believe she's in grave or immediate danger. She's 5'8", weighs 120 pounds, and has pink braces. If you have any information about her whereabouts, call the Royce City Police Department at this number, 972-204-7002. Turning now to Atlanta, Georgia. The city's police chief voluntarily stepped down after an officer shot and killed a black man. The Atlanta Police Department already fired one of the officers involved and placed the other on leave. We want to show you footage from that shooting. While the deadly gunshots fired by an officer are not seen in this video, they are heard. We do want to warn you that this video may be difficult for some to watch. The first angle of that footage was from an eyewitness as 27-year-old Rayshard Brooks fought off police after failing a sobriety test. In the skirmish, Brooks took a taser from an officer and ran away. When he turned around holding the taser he took, an officer shoots him. Another angle from further away does in fact show the man being gunned down as he runs away. Atlanta's Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms praised Police Chief Erica Shields as she announced the chief's resignation. The mayor said that Shields is stepping down so that the city can move forward to rebuild trust in communities. As for the shooting in question, the mayor addressed that too.
While there may be debate as to whether this was an appropriate use of deadly force, I firmly believe that there is a clear distinction between what you can do and what you should do. I do not believe that this was a justified use of deadly force and have called for the immediate termination of the officer.
Mayor Bottoms says the former police chief will remain with the city, but in another role. People kept protesting against police brutality for the third weekend in a row here across Central Texas. Residents in Marble Falls gathered yesterday at Johnson Park. Seniors who recently graduated from Marble Falls High School organized this event. The Marble Falls Police Department, Fire Department, EMS, and City Council all attended that event. And here was the scene in Lockhart yesterday where protesters gathered in front of the Caldwell County Courthouse. Along with calls to stop police brutality, they demanded the removal of a Confederate memorial that's located in front of that building. The death of Javier Ambler in Williamson County also sparked some of the protests yesterday. Ambler died in March of 2019 after a 22-minute chase began in Williamson County and ended in North Austin. It all reportedly happened after Ambler failed to dim his lights. Production crews with the reality show Live PD also recorded Ambler's death. Once outrage of Ambler's death surfaced more than a year later, Live PD has now been canceled. KXAN's Caitlin Carmood heard from Ambler's sister during a march this weekend in Georgetown.
Everybody that saw him was like, oh, he looks scary, intimidating, but he had the biggest heart. He would give you the shirt off of his back.
Kimberly Jones is reminiscing the memories her brother left behind. Javier was her only sibling.
Hearing somebody beg for their life and you not doing anything to save them, but to harm them.
In this video from APD, Ambler can be heard pleading with officers, saying he can't breathe. He's also heard telling police of his congenital heart defect. Javier's sister hasn't seen that video.
I want to remember my protector.
Travis County District Attorney Margaret Moore has taken up the case. She tells us Live PD and Sheriff Chody have not cooperated with the investigation. That's a claim Sheriff Chody refutes.
I'm tired of seeing justice for signs because of somebody that got killed by somebody that should have been protecting them. My nephew, he's 4 years old. He asks his mom every day, can you send a letter to God so you could let my daddy know I love him? And can you ask God to bring him back?
Caitlin Carmo, KXAN News.
Javier Ambler's case will remain open until Austin police complete their investigation. Meanwhile, the Williamson County Sheriff's Office says it released all body cam video from that night to APD. The officers involved are still on duty. Meanwhile, a push to get voters to the polls this election year is one of the messages of the Black Lives Matter protests in Williamson County. Yesterday, Round Rock protesters marched from a Planet Fitness to the steps of City Hall. Organizers say it's not just about the presidential elections this year and that they're taking their message to where the people are.
People learn to practice their right to vote, but that people actually get a seat at the table to know what's going on with these police departments. What is the city doing about it? Let's do something in the city surrounding it too.
We're going to where we need to be, where people are who need to get registered.
Event organizers say they plan to have voter registration booths at all future marches in Williamson County.
Now, first warning weather.
Good Sunday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Sean Kelly in the First Warning Weather Center. As you're ready to take on your Sunday, it is looking fantastic out there. Comfortable start to your day with temperatures into the 60s. Another day of cool weather in place with some low humidity. That's one of the reasons that we're dealing with this beautiful start to the day here with dew points into the 40s, 50s, and low 60s. Something we don't really typically see for this late in the month of June, but that will start to slowly change here throughout the day into the evening and overnight hours. We'll see that big uptick here in the humidity. As a result, we're not going to be dealing with as cool of early mornings that we have been dealing with over the past several days. So if you like the cooler weather, get outside and enjoy it right now while it lasts, because again, we will see the return of the humidity over the next 24 hours, but it won't be too overwhelming. As you can see, primarily pretty much in check here over the next 7 days, but again, not as wonderful as it has been over the past several days. Winds are calm right now. We're going to be dealing with an easterly breeze throughout the day that will transition to more out of the south and east, and that is a Gulf flow, and again, that is why we'll see that return of the humidity. But overall, though, with that dry air in place, not only have we been dealing with some cool mornings, but also a full-on sunny sky. As you can see, not a cloud out there in the sky on the Austonian weather camera. I think, though, that we'll start to see a couple clouds out and about tomorrow into the evening, especially with a chance for an isolated shower, maybe south of Austin, but that's still less than a 10% chance of rain. Today, no rain in the forecast, just dry and hot, but beautiful. Middle 90s for highs. You'll definitely need to keep reapplying that sunscreen as well. A great day to be out there on the hike and bike trail. Again, we do have some hot weather in the forecast and really a nice 7-day forecast. I'll have that for you coming up in First Warning Weather.
Thank you, Sean. Texas prosecutors are now examining potential irregularities in a former Houston police officer's arrest of George Floyd on a minor drug charge. It's a probe that could expand the body of convictions possibly tainted by that officer's conduct. The Harris County District Attorney said that Floyd's case may be among others that were built on false evidence from Gerald Goins. The former Houston police officer is currently facing murder charges after he allegedly lied to obtain a warrant for a botched drug raid that left 2 people dead. Goins has pleaded not guilty in that case. Prosecutors say they already dismissed dozens of convictions dating back to at least 2008. They were marred by that officer. The Harris County Sheriff's Office confirmed yesterday that the department lost a second employee due to COVID-19. Deputy Juan Menchaca died Saturday after a lengthy battle with the virus. The 70-year-old had been hospitalized for several weeks after contracting COVID-19. He was a 14-year veteran of the Harris County Sheriff's Office. He also served as a Texas parole officer for 18 years. He leaves behind a wife and 7 children. Funeral arrangements for the deputy are currently pending. Meanwhile, the Houston Police Department as a whole is experiencing a surge in virus cases. To put it into perspective, more officers tested positive in the past week than the entire month of May. Across the state, there were more than 2,000 new cases of the novel coronavirus reported on Saturday, along with another 18 deaths. For the second day in a row, there were a record number of people with COVID-19 hospitalized. The new cases come in an upward trend following the state's reopening that began in May. While thousands of hospital beds remain available at this time, officials are voicing some concern. Health experts say the total number of cases is likely much higher because many people have simply not been tested, and studies suggest people can be infected and still not feel sick. The city of San Marcos is offering free COVID-19 testing today as part of the governor's new initiative to test underserved communities. Mobile testing will take place at Bonham Pre-K School from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. If you're unable to attend today, get this, there will be another mobile testing event next Saturday. Texas Land Commissioner George P. Bush is not taking threats to vandalize the Alamo lightly. He posted on Twitter last night to show a large group of officers standing in front of that historic site. Bush said his office is closely watching social media posts from protesters who are threatening to come onto the property. He ended his tweet with a direct message to the protesters saying, quote, "Don't mess with the Alamo." We are now about a week away from the official start of summer, and if you're looking for some outdoor activities, then you're in luck. Big Bend National Park announced that it's resuming some popular services tomorrow. That includes most hiking trails. The Rio Grande will also be available for day-use river trips. And starting next Friday, the Chisos Mountains Lodge will reopen, but guests will be limited to a maximum of 5 nights per reservation. Now let's check back in with Sean. A beautiful day out there so far.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are doing any hiking or camping or anything like that, fantastic weather. And we've been very, very lucky with these cool start to the days. And then that will slowly come to an end, though, over the next couple of days. I'm going to be dealing with warming temperatures here for at least the early morning hours. The high temperatures of the day will be pretty similar into the middle 90s. A great day, though, to be out in your backyard, maybe poolside. Temperatures into the middle 90s, a full-on sunny sky. You're going to need that sunscreen, and of course, you need to stay hydrated. I'll have that forecast for you coming up in First Warning Weather.
And the family of a missing Fort Hood soldier is now demanding answers. After the break, we'll explain what they're doing to draw more attention to her case.